Hello, everyone. Welcome to this podcast. I guess maybe it's going to be its own video. We don't know yet. But this specific part is we're going to be talking a lot about the recent video that Digibro released about his autism scale. And we have I have thoughts, and I think Will does too. Oh, yeah, and I'm Sadachi, and my co-host is Will the Dill.
That's me.
Yeah, I'm terrible at intros. Anyways, though,
Gives a fuck. I don't.
Honestly, this is the most one of the more unprofessional ways to do this. So we're just gonna do it anyways. Fuck it, we'll do it live. I actually haven't even seen where that reference is from.
Me neither.
But yeah, anyways,
I don't think so.
So actually, do you want to start with the autism and what your opinion on the autism scale, and then I'm going to bring in like just my entire tirade.
Well, I just wanted to bring up before he even made the chart, he actually talked about it to you and me.
Yeah,
because he wanted to know where would Symphogear place on it.
Yeah. And also actually so we're both a part of the Digibro Discord. It's actually how we ended up starting this podcast.
Yeah.
It's it's not the best. It's toxic at times, and it's about to get a bit more toxic. But that's just that's just story arcs and such. I'm just telling you, man. Howard is going to leave you reeling. Okay, he's
so far he's just fine. All right.
Okay. I mean, honestly though, he fine for him is a very different meaning is fine for other people, because fine for an otaku Nazi is very different from fine for a normal human being, or at least one who is at least somewhat adaptable. And
I don't care if he's an otaku Nazi or something. All I care about is he said Symphogear is pretty based. So
yeah, I mean, honestly,
he's pretty based.
No, the thing is, his opinion on Symphogear, I've actually had a bit more asked him about it before, and it's like,
oh yeah,
it's good. Like parts of it are good, but the other parts are just like yikes. When I say yikes, I mean he sees what he sees in it is ways that he can use it to adapt his autism.
Well, I'll see whenever he talks about it more, because I know he will, because I will talk about Symphogear more. So
yeah, and honestly, I've realized at this point the only thing I can do is just ignore him, because he doesn't. Yeah, honestly, also by the way, we need to cut this out of the actual video.
Or not, whatever.
I mean, he already knows my opinion on him, so it's like whatever. But at the same time, though, I don't want to give this guy more press, and I'd rather the world think he is just a troll, because honestly, a world where people understand that he is not trolling is kind of sad.
I don't think he's right at all. With otaku Nazi shit or something. But if he wants to be that, he had to say Symphogear was based. Because as I keep saying, Symphogear is the most anime there is.
Yeah, and I'm just trying to find where his opinion is on it, or because I have asked him, but whatever. We don't have to worry about that right now.
Autism chart. So yeah, before he even made it, he talked about us to it, and I think we both agreed Symphogear was between a 3 and a 4, around these parts.
Yeah. And then a little bit, I'm gonna get to my general opinion on the name that he used to describe the chart and what he's actually describing. But but generally though, it's because there's a level of database to it that you just sort of kind of need attention, a decent amount of attention to detail and focus to just understand, or to really get into Symphogear, because you can enjoy it as something that's kind of whatever, just shown in, or just
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Okay, actually, also, by the way, Howard actually didn't share his thoughts on it, but at the same time, though, I also know what his thoughts would be on it, because I mean, honestly, I as much as I am loath to admit it, I basically at one point developed a complex about him because he's such an asshole, and so He's so easy. He's so easy to fucking like just like go in too deep. I actually never watched any of his videos to full. I can't. I tried watching some of them, and it's just terrible. I can't. They're just so poorly produced. Whatever.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever watched one either.
But yeah, and also he uses God perspective for most of his videos, and when he's not doing that, he's like doing some really crappy stuff with it. Otherwise, sorry, I could blast. I could like shit on Howard all day, but I don't want to be doing that, and I also am trying not to do that because I said I don't want to give him more press. Yeah. But anyways, but yeah, so, I mean, I feel like, yeah, Simple Gear just has a lot to it that you can just accept it. You can watch it and enjoy it as, like, as just, like, a shonen, as a battle anime, but you don't need to, and also, it really isn't the best, honestly, what I think the best way to experience it is, because there's just so much more meat to it.
I think everyone who watches it like that ends up missing a lot of the point.
Yeah, and also there's a lot of things with when it comes to Simple Gear that like I keep on like I just keep on coming back to like discussions I've had on Reddit with people who just don't get it because they keep on looking at it at face value instead of trying to understand it. And it's just like,
well, these are level 1 people.
And also, by the way, I actually I'm going to get into this this general scale in the first place. So just fuck the name off. Fuck calling it the autism scale because I fucking hate that. I fucking hate the name. The name just really kind of irks me. Not just because of the fact that it's not really described. This is not really a descriptor of autism. This scale does not describe autism in the first place. It describes hyperfixation, and I just realized I'm talking very fast. But what hyperfixation is, and this is something that's very, very common among a lot of people, especially those with certain learning disabilities or mental disorders. Like I have ADHD, and hyperfixation is literally like a core pillar of it. And it's, of course, and also as opposed to what some people believe, ADHD is not on the spectrum. And it's just, it's things like that. They're like, that's a very common trait among a lot of people, and for people who have harder time dealing with being social with others, or just they don't have great social skills, it tends to appear more because they're among the people that have those mental disorders or things like that they end up being the ones who are outcasts, and that's where you have a higher likelihood of people who are really into anime to be like that.
Yeah.
And
just so we're clear here, because English isn't my first language, ADHD is what does it stand for?
Attention deficit hyperactivity disorder.
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, right, and the weird thing is, like, I mean, people think that it means like I could be talking about one thing and then say, "Hey, is that a chicken?" Or you know what I mean? Like just like be focusing on something and then just completely switch subjects. Yeah. But that's not exactly how it works. It's much more of like you have the ability to really fixate on one particular thing, and you can also switch that thing can switch around and stuff like that. But other things,
I have a friend like that.
Yeah.
Actually, it's the editor.
Oh, yeah.
The last podcast, so.
And so the thing is, there's a part of it that allows you to bounce off the walls or and there's the part that allows you to like fixate on something extremely well. Like this is part of why I'm good at learning like all I can about things. This is Simple Gear kind of is a bit. I'm drawn to stuff like Simple Gear because I'm able to fixate on that sort of stuff. But at the same time, though, it's also like there's a lot of other factors and a lot more things that like about ADHD that makes it a very unique type of disorder. And then also when I hear Digibro talking about this scale and he's just calling it autistic, it just kind of doesn't work because of the fact that it applies to a much broader perspective and a broader group of people and a much narrower group of people at the same time, because people who are not everyone who's autistic is necessarily going to be able to relate to this chart, as shown by several there have been several discussions on Digicord about that.
Yeah.
And then also the thing is, people who have hyperfixation, which this is what this chart measures really, also don't necessarily end up relating to it for various reasons. Like, I don't actually relate to this chart too much because I feel like, I mean, I could honestly describe myself as, say, like a 2.7, and I did that. I mentioned that as much at one point in that Discord. But at the same time, though, it doesn't resonate with me because my entire personality and who I am is so much more centered around emotions and how I see the world rather than how much I get focused on.
Digi said there was an emotional side that he didn't even talk about.
And the thing is, I'm hoping Digi gets around to making a video on that, but at the same time, though, I also feel like this chart was something that I would have loved a lot more went back like a few years ago when I wasn't in a position to understand myself the way I do right now.
Yeah, I can see that because I have always used the word autism as Digi used it because I don't think I ever used that word before knowing Digi, and he's the one who basically made me use that word in those contexts.
Yeah,
like it's just a meme basically for me. Like, wow, that's pretty autistic. Like, I don't think it's true, but it's like saying, wow, that's pretty gay.
Yeah, for me though, like it's like I feel a lot about a lot of things about the word, especially because I have friends who are on the spectrum, and it's like it's just like it feels off to think about it like that way, and also just I feel like this is something I can this is a scale that I could feasibly potentially put myself on. But at the same time, though, I can't divorce the medical definition of autism from the way that it's being used here.
No,
and I wish I could.
Digi, like we said, he idealized autism.
Yeah, and I just hate that.
He says he's a new type, and he says new types are autists. Like,
honestly, I just wish if you could just call it the new type scale, I'd be happy. But I'm not gonna try and fix that because the thing is, I wanted to get into one very specific thing about all this when it comes to Digi, and that's he's finally fucking did it. He's finally fucking done it. He
sure did.
But no, he's been able to finally do what everyone tries to fucking do, and he's been saying this for years that that all art is basically trying to say the same thing. I say fuck that. I say all art has the same goal, which is to connect with people, to bring people together, to find a way to understand and connect with others, like how Symphogear does that. This is why this is the connection I'm drawing, is that Digi has literally has finally figured out how to put into words the pinnacle of his achievements, his magnum opus. And that is...
Has Digi found it?
And that is literally fucking autism. And that's so fucking great and annoying at the same time because he's using the word autism. Because the thing is, though, that I don't watch much of his content anymore, but I do keep up every once in a while. And I know, the first thing I watched from him, I think, was Old Ass Anime Cast. And I remember...
That's recent.
I remember just, there was two things I got from it. I think one of the first ones I watched was on Yuri, because,
that's the first thing you watched from Digi?
I think so, yeah.
Shit, alright.
I don't think... I didn't watch things chronologically, though, so, I never even watched his SAO video.
Well, you should get on that, but...
I don't feel like it. I already hate SAO as it is, but,
Yeah, but that's exactly why you should watch those.
No, but it's just I don't even care about SAO enough to do that.
All right, sure.
Yeah, honestly,
I'm just surprised I'm just surprised you're that new, because for me, that's Anime Cast is somewhat recent.
Well, the thing is, that's 3 years old now.
I can't believe that.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? But the thing is, though, that I remember, I think the first video I watched of his was on Yuri, and the thing is that what I got from him there was he felt like he was trying to say something, and he said a lot of things that made sense in there, but at the same time, though, it felt like he was just sort of kind of on the sidelines with a lot of what he was talking about there.
Digi always he always seems on the sideline of
But
pretty
no,
much
not
everything.
always. But not always, because the thing is, I
Not
watched
always,
other things, and there was I think it was I think there was one episode. I think there's another video that I just remember watching where he just starts he talks about that episode, that one scene in Haruhi where she fucking starts playing God Bless or whatever it's called, and that's like a fucking great moment, and like a bunch of other stuff about that, and I could hear something different when he was talking about that than when he was talking about Yuri, whatever. That wasn't what I was trying to focus on. What I was trying to focus on is the fact that I've watched enough of his videos to know the kind of person he is, and I know that he has been trying to say something for a long time. And what he wrote, I really feel like what he's been trying to say has been this.
Is that chart?
Is that chart? Yeah. Because the thing is, even like he's said before, he doesn't like labels and stuff like that. And you know what? And the funniest thing is he ends up using discovering a forum to connect the world, or to connect himself with his audience by using labels.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, though, is that he developed what you do in life is you develop strategies and build or forms of organization to be able to connect with others, because it's really hard to do that, to connect even with one person in the first place, and so you need to build some sort of structure to it to be able to connect to other people. And he did that, and he was able to put it into words for once, and that was great.
He put it into words, but not everyone agrees with it.
And that's the thing, though, is that also, I mean, the thing is, his execution could have been better. I honestly think his execution of it could have been better, but at the same time, though,
I'm totally on board.
He did, yeah. I mean, I'm on board with the fact with the results of it. I'm not on board with the fact that he uses the word autism, but he needed to do that. He needed to do this, and it is. I'm so happy that he did, because he's finally been able to connect with other people, or he's finally found something that is like connects him to other people in such a way that is like you can't change. You're not going to be able to change that. Like this scale is something that's going to stick around for a long time.
Digi has countered the curse of Balan.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is that's honestly, like, I think the things we can take from Symphogear, even as early as season 1, and just in general, is that everyone's trying to do this. Everyone's trying to connect with others and have someone else understand them. I mean, I would honestly say, I feel like Digi also I don't think Digi would be where he is if he didn't have May.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, like, that's the first first true point of connection he really has, more than anything else. Like, the PCP is a lot of people who are very similar to him. Or not. What I mean is similar, as similar as in like they think about things in a similar way, but not in like they don't have the same thoughts as him. Not at all. And also, fucking Ben Saint, what the fuck is going on with him? Anyways,
let's not talk about Ben Saint.
Honestly, I guess I'm giving your editor a bunch of extra work. Oops, sorry. But just in general, what I mean though is that like, May is a person who has allowed him to connect with to connect better with people, because he's able to connect with May so well.
Yep. So he can, because of May, he understood himself better.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is that like often it comes down to a lot of things that are very important, is that like trying to understand yourself and trying to self-actualize is very hard, and I don't even know if even self-actualization is even an accurate term anymore. It's been a while since I've taken any psychology classes, but it's, the general idea of like being able to more or less reach a point at which you're able to understand yourself and understand your place in the world. Like that's like it's like more or less the pinnacle of self-understanding. Then the
Yeah.
next, of course, my consideration is that the next step
Yeah,
is sharing that
self-understanding is the
understanding with
first.
people.
Exactly. Self-understanding is the first step in understanding others.
Yeah, and for me, like, I need to fucking finish a novel or some book or some piece of fiction because I need a faster way to connect with people.
Sorry, can you repeat that? I think you cut out a little bit.
Yeah, I need to finish a goddamn story for once because because I feel like I have an understanding of myself, but I can't fucking share it for shit. Yeah.
I think that's not the case for me, but let's talk about where does Symphogear end up on that scale, though. Because, as we said, there are a lot of ways you can enjoy Symphogear.
Okay, I'm also going to break down the scale into two parts, to just a general thought. So Digi did mention emotional. I really hate calling it autism, but at this point, this is the only way I can. I don't know.
Just say new type. Just say new type.
Yeah, but like the emotional. Well, actually, I'm just going to say the emotional side of the scale, and then the database oriented side of the scale, because that's the two types. That's really the two types. Because, and honestly, those two have a lot of overlap, more so than most people tend to think about, because people have a real issue with dividing logic and emotions. But in general, so there's there's two parts of it, and with Symphogear, you have something that is more or less that is. How do I put it? You can basically rate it emotionally as almost every single point on this scale to some extent. Actually, no, wait. I don't know about the higher points, but I know at the very least on at least 1 to 4, you can put it anywhere on there, and it would and someone's gonna get an emotional resonance from it.
I don't think 1, because Symphogear includes idols and mecha. And I don't think those things really go into level 1. Like,
yeah, actually,
just by being what they are.
Good point. Maybe it's more like 2 to 5 then.
I think it's more 2 to 5. Yeah,
2 to 5 sounds.
Maybe not 5. Maybe not 5, because 5 is all about the data, right? And you don't care about anything else.
The thing is that actually, Digi really didn't get into the emotional side of it, and I would posit that the emotional version of this scale, because I feel like you might have to actually separate them into two different scales, and then figure out like a way to like make a common ground between them, and push them back together.
Yeah.
Because I feel like for an emotional on an emotional scale, it's something that's like I think I'm gonna extrapolate what he said about like how like you interpret the art as you get higher in the scale, and at a 5 you're starting to inch closer to the fact that the art itself is almost irrelevant.
Yeah.
But the thing is that you're right
no
next
emotion.
to you're right next no but the thing is though you're right next to that limit at around a 5, and it's like what you get, though, is I feel like when you try to go onto an emotional version of this scale, you'd get something more like 6 and 7 actually would start to generate apathy. But 5 is basically right at the very edge of where you're getting to, where you're using something that's sort of manic or euphoric.
Right, but where does Symphogear end up? Because
that's the thing.
Right,
though,
let's break it down a little bit. Because like what I enjoy in Symphogear, right, is obviously the action, right?
That's what you enjoy?
No, yeah, well, of course I do, but not just that. Like, there's the action, there's the idols and the songs. And then there's there's the meta aspect of it with the voice actresses that go along with that. And then there's there's all the teamings with the deeper teams with the connection with other people and the Curse of Balal and dude.
Actually, I think
Well,
that's where the emotional resonance really shines through, is the connections with other people.
yeah.
And then when it comes to the other parts, I'd say the parts with the voice actresses and voice actors and stuff like that. That's gonna be that's definitely on the database side. I'd say that's probably where you're reaching the more nearing the 4-ish territory.
Yeah.
And I honestly,
And then,
that's a more of a person. I also feel like that's more of a personal pursuit of it.
yeah,
Whereas
for sure. Like I engaged with Symphogear on a level 4.
I don't know where I engage with Symphogear because I feel like I kind of just honestly I just jump around on this scale anyways.
Yeah, that's true. I guess.
Yeah.
I guess I can enjoy Symphogear on all levels,
Yeah.
basically.
I mean, also I'd have
But
to say that in terms of just my general like disposition and demeanor, it's like I also have the ability to just naturally experience euphoria without much effort on my part. As in, like, whereas most people like are, you know how people say they get post anime depression.
I yeah, I do that.
I mean, sometimes that happens to me, but it's very much not that's not something that I have to worry about too much because I am always able to go back up to that height of enjoyment. And
Yeah, same.
but I mean, but the thing is though, I'm
I
constantly I can constantly be there. It's like I don't chase the dragon to try and find that emotional high. I am on that emotional high the majority of the time.
all right.
And so it's for me it's like I don't know where I can enjoy or I enjoy this piece of or I enjoy Symphogear because it more or less lets me peak easily.
Yeah. Symphogear also has the mythology aspect to it.
Oh yeah, the mythology aspect. I'd say actually when you get to the mythological aspect, because I feel like Digi didn't also add a scale for other types of media, and I feel like when you add in the mythology, that's like all these individual aspects on their own are probably could be almost like two or threes, a bunch of like small two or threes.
Yeah.
But when you put them together, that's like it gets between like a 4 and a 5 with how much you need to fixate on these things for them to like like
If you truly like, if you enjoy every single part of Symphogear to the fullest, it might get close to a 5, but no, because a 5 it's something different. I think Symphogear is like a hard 4.
I forget what is a 5. I need to remember what
A
a 5
5
is.
is something like Kankole, for example, where you only care about the fact that there's 10 million waifus to
Oh
choose
yeah,
from.
okay. So it's like I now remember it. Okay, at that point, our authorial intent has basically disappeared.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
And level 4 is something like Girls und Panzer, for example, where you care about the tanks. Like, for example, if you're level 4, you'd watch Girls und Panzer, and you would care about the World War II references and the tanks
I
and
just
the
realized.
historical accuracy,
I just
and not the
realized.
show itself.
I just realized why Simple Gear can be a 5 at times. And that's though honestly, it's more like you can experience it as a 5 on an emotional level, and there's a way you can do that. And that's actually I feel like honestly though that's also a lot of media that you can experience at a 5 or emotionally a 5. But what and that's when you're just basically experiencing it as only just pure raw emotion that is being generated by all the scenes being shown.
If I could do that for every everything, man, that would be fucking great.
Honestly, though, the thing is, though, then you get to. I honestly, my thought is that at 6 and 7, you get to a point where you are apathetic if you're not experiencing the thing you're enjoying. If it's emotion, I think on the emotional scale, I think that's where you end up getting.
Yeah.
And then, but with a 5, like you're reaching a very dangerous territory of okay, you're almost at a point where you will not be able to experience anything normally. Which I mean, honestly, that there's already you're already in the deep end at that point. But yeah,
Yeah.
with Simple Gear, I feel like there's a lot of scenes that are very emotionally charged, and that's something that you can say it would every once in a while reaches a 5. but
on an emotional level.
yeah, on an emotional level. Because the thing is
Of
also
course,
like
yeah.
you know how like there's the meme of hype, you know, like
Yeah.
yeah. The thing is that's basically like that's actually the best way one of the best ways to describe. Okay, this is where it's a 5. Like every once in a while, it peaks at a 5, and then the normies meme about it. But
So Symphogear is what around it's a 4, right? That's what we said.
It's a 4. It is a 4, but
Yeah.
emotionally, it is basically I'd say it's between a 2 and a 5. And often, when it gets to the hypest moments, it can really peak out at 5, or like peak around 5.
Yeah. It's yeah.
Although honestly, I feel like
That's fair.
although if you want, and then to get even further into this, just before we move on to something else, if you consider, I think also I'm very much adapting and readjusting like how Digibro scale works in this case, but it's, I mean, it's because I'm now just adapting it into a way that's like where things like how things are moving along this scale, anyways. Or just hard to describe, anyways. But it's that. I feel like most people tend to not go past a 4 in terms of emotional autism, because the thing is that
Yeah.
most people can't really experience the level like a level of euphoria that like practically breaks their mind.
Like those people who can't cry while watching an anime. Like those are not. These are like level 1s, you know.
Not exactly.
Emotionally.
I don't know. I mean, honestly, if you can't connect to the characters, if you can't connect to the characters or you don't really see them as people, you're already at a 0 on the emotional scale. If you can connect and see those characters as people and believe they're in their lives and have them resonate with you emotionally, you're probably at a 2 or a 3.
Yeah, I guess. All right.
And then if you if you're watching My Hero Academia and you think it's one of the best shonens of all time, you're a level 1 and get the fuck out. Because honestly, though, actually, like the thing is, like you can get some really good emotional moments from My Hero Academia, and it's more like a 2 or a 3 sometimes. But at the same time, though, it really is just a 1 because it's something that also has its own level of like exposure and audience that everyone can connect with, so it doesn't really go too far in any direction with emotions.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like,
well, that's the thing. Every show I think can be enjoyed on different levels.
Yeah.
It always depends on the person.
Yeah, and
like I think like a show like Girls and Panzer, why it's one of my favorites is because I actually can enjoy it on many different levels, like the level 4 and the level 3 and the level 2.
Yeah.
For example.
I mean, that's largely why I love F: A Tale of Memories, because the things I really like about it are the emotions that it brings to the table, and the cinematography. Like the cinematography in that show is like phenomenal. Like it's like literally Shaft before Shaft was known for being Shaft.
Mm.
Like it was Shaft before Bakemonogatari.
Yeah.
Which is basically like, okay, it's not using the techniques the best they can, but at the same time though it's fucking brilliant. And it's just like it has so many emotional beats that I'm able to hit like appreciate it on several levels, and it just works with what it's doing. And then
I think that's how you get a new favorite, is when you can enjoy something on many different levels.
Yeah, or sometimes though you just get something that you watch and then you finish and you're just like, that was good. Like that was really good. And sometimes you're like, holy fuck, this is the greatest fucking thing of all time, you know?
Yeah, but that's the thing.
That's how I was with Flip Flappers.
You think that at first, but if you go deeper towards those thoughts, if you analyze those thoughts you have, it's because you can enjoy it on many different levels, I think.
Depends. there are some of them that I enjoy on several different levels, and then there's ones like Read or Die, the OVA of it, that I enjoy on mainly the level of, it reminds me of League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, but with a character who can control paper, and it's all fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Yep, it's
Well,
like that. It's a level of engagement that just is just based off of spectacle. And I still wait. Why do I have Kill la Kill in my top 10? Sorry, now I'm being ADHD.
I also removed my Kill la Kill from my favorites recently.
And honestly, it's not like it's not like it has no reason to be there. But at the same time, though, I might need to make room for Whisper of the Heart or other stuff like that.
The thing is, whenever one of my favorites drop down in score, it's not because I don't like it anymore. It's because I just like something else more.
I basically use the scale that Digi explains. Except the difference I have is all my 10s are my top 10, and then the rest of my scores are just basically where I place them in relation to my other scores.
Yeah, no, me, I don't do that. I just give 10s to whatever I think is a 10.
How many 10s do you have? Because I mean, honestly, my 9s and 8s make up the majority of my list.
So you have a very high mean score.
My mean score is 7.3.
That's very high.
Yeah, honestly, the people who say that your mean score should be around a 5, I don't believe them.
No.
Yeah. But anyways, actually, I'm gonna just talk about Symphogear for a second. Like, I'm not even gonna talk about the episodes we were gonna be talking about right now. I just want to talk about it.
Yep, go for it.
Okay, so with Symphogear, there's a lot of stuff. Like, not even in relation to the autism scale. It's not like what I really even want to talk about. I just want to talk about the fact that at its core, we've mentioned this a lot, that it's about connecting with other people. And we have a lot of characters that are dedicated to doing that. And we just
basically all of them are in different ways.
And honestly, I think I keep on coming back to Chris. Also, it's so annoying that I keep on remembering her as Chris-chan and not just Chris, because I'm just like, literally, it's just, just sounds so...
Just call her like Tsubasa does and call her Yukine.
Yeah, Yukine. Because honestly, Yukine sounds better, and also I keep on thinking Chris-chan, and I think Christian. And this show is very not Christian at all. Yeah.
No, it's very anti-religion, in fact.
Honestly. But the thing, though, is that I keep on coming back to Yukine, because the thing is, she's the one who I think actually connects with people more than anyone else, because Hibiki, she connects with people, but she also can't fundamentally understand others in the way that Yukine can, because she hasn't really understood the way
it's because Chris has been on both sides.
Yeah, and the thing is, even though Hibiki has been dealt with fucked up shit, like being bullied for years, and having her father walk out on her family, it's not the same sort of emotional resonance you get as when you're thinking about Yukine, because
she's an orphan of a civil war.
Yeah, and the thing is, though, that she literally is too damn nice for her own good. She calls people out on being fucking naive while she's naive herself.
Yeah.
And it's
I think Chris can understand everyone better than anyone else because, as I said, she has been on both sides.
Yeah.
So she can relate to everyone, basically.
Yeah, and it's just when you look at her, and also I feel like the other character that I feel like also just I keep coming back to is Miku, because Miku has the really big issue. I feel like it's a really big issue that a lot of the time she's kind of just there. Often she is, not always though. Like a lot of time, like Miku also has a lot of moments where she's really a dynamic character, but you know, she's been a MacGuffin a couple of times.
It's because she doesn't have to be there.
Yeah,
Like most of the time, she's just here to serve as an anchor to the real world for Hibiki. You know, like
yeah, and okay,
yeah, you gotta go do the dishes, man.
got it. Sorry, I had to. That was my parents.
No, that's all right.
Yeah. But yeah. So wait, where was I?
Miku is here for Hibiki to have a connection to the human world.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that she's honestly the most human character out of everyone because well she's the normal one, normal person.
Yeah.
And it's like she is literally the one
Most of the time.
Well, no, I'd say the entire time. Even when she's being possessed or some other otherworldly being, she's still the most human. like if Hibiki is the representation of focused rage and like energy, because in a lot of ways she's like more or less not exactly rage, but you know it's like how I put it she's the embodiment of, well, she's kind of the embodiment of power with, you know, proper emotional like backing. But like Miku is just more or less the embodiment of what the heart is.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then and I feel like actually when you like look at Yukine, like Yukine does a lot of like is something of a character that just I think there's a reason that she never ends up with anyone. And that's because she's more or less the character that has to be comfortable in her own skin. Like, some people can find understanding and, like, connection with others, but that only works if you're able to understand and connect with yourself.
Yeah.
And with Yukine, honestly, it's something that she knew from the very start about herself, but at the same time, though, she has constantly had to relearn it because, well, your life isn't that great if you have to deal with a more or less surrogate parent who tortures you for partially fun and partially to save your life.
to instill her values in you.
Yeah, well, you don't get you basically more or less had, like, she's basically, on some level, she had to become comfortable with herself to be able to make the speech she made in Season 5.
Yeah.
Like, she could not reach her hand out in that way until after Season 4 happened, because she had to face herself in Season 4.
Yeah.
I forget what happened in Season 4 that made her, that she had to face, but
it's the little boy from her country and the girl that was with her parents when her parents died.
Wait, was it actually was the special thing in Season 3 then? The thing where
Season 3, she has a little bit of drama with Shirabe and Kirika.
No, but I mean, like, is that the scene? Is that the one when they use the fucking Ignite modules?
You with Maria, you mean?
Oh, so wait.
Like what? Because in Season 3, she uses.
But she has to face herself with the Ignite module in Season 3, then, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
She had to face her. So actually, it's been 3 seasons that she's really had to deal with this, because Season 2 and Season 1, she's more or less just had to get comfortable with being on a team.
Yep.
And then
that's why she's being a tsundere.
Oh, I mean, the thing is also, in general, like, this, like, honestly, this is also tsundere's done right. In terms of, like...
Of course, she's a type 1. Type 1 tsundere. They're always the best.
Well, is that the one that goes away over time, or...
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, but because actually also like in general, like tsunderes are like if a normal person can be something like that, and that's just generally people who get easily flustered, and that's where Yukine really falls under. Anyways, I think we got off subject with this, but just to circle it back, with Yukine, she just is the character that literally like honestly, like I wouldn't doubt if she just ended up being aromantic or asexual in the end at the end of the day. But I mean, also then again, there's no reason to believe she is. She is like she has any preference or in general, but it's the kind of thing. She's the kind of character that you could very easily perceive her as that because of the way she interacts with the world and tends to really focus on the more general side of relationships or on the sides of relationships that are more about friendship and connection rather than anything further than that.
Yeah. Yep. That's that's true, man. Like I can't say anything else. Like because yeah, what we were talking about is every character basically serves the purpose of connecting to others, like that team,
Yeah.
that aspect of Symphogear. Like every character has some connection to that in a different way.
Yeah.
And Yukine is the one who actually can understand everyone better than anyone else.
Yeah, and the thing is actually the reason Maria and it's is it Tsubasa? Yes, it is Tsubasa. Yeah, Maria and Tsubasa are able to connect with each other, and also honestly, like they should be in a relationship at this point. But
most likely.
Honestly, we just have to wait for the specials to come out. That's like that's gonna be the end of the end of it.
Yep.
And like Maria and Tsubasa,
I can't wait, but at the same time,
I'm really worried. But at the same time, all I'm waiting for is just Hibiki and Miku going out on a proper date. Yeah.
I just want this fucking prologue. Not prologue, epilogue.
Yes, yes, we all do. But with like Tsubasa and Maria, it's just they connect with each other because Maria actually more or less she's one of the more initially complete characters than the rest of the cast.
Because when you meet her, she's already an adult and has already had time to think herself through.
She's as old as Tsubasa.
No, she's older. Maria is 22 and Tsubasa is 20.
Oh shit! Yeah. Okay. Well, and that's the thing.
By the end of the show, of course.
Yeah. Of course. But yeah, 2 years older. Then never mind. Yeah, that's a big difference. But the thing is, Maria, like she is like the character who needs to be like who needed to be a guiding force for Tsubasa, and at the same time also felt a connection with Tsubasa. Just like it was able to connect with her. I don't know how to describe it because it's like,
well, because they both are idols and they both love singing.
I mean, I feel like that. I mean, I'll go with that because I can't really think of a better reason.
Well, initially that's why they are able to connect, and that's also why in season 5, by the end, Maria tells to Tsubasa, like, no, she tells to Tsubasa, remember the first time we sang together.
Okay, never mind. They're definitely fucking.
Yeah, they are.
Like, I can't believe I just had to remember that. Oh yeah, they're fucking. Yeah, they're no matter what, they're fucking. Yeah. And it's like, and so like they connected over that, and then like then you get to Shirabe and Kirika, which they connected in a very kind of just.
The first thing that they relate to one another is not having a birthday. Like that's the first conversation they have.
Oh my gosh, I need I need to like fly. I need to binge this entire series all over again because I really like. I feel like I'd be able to talk about this so much better if I like knew everything about it again.
I just have seen it so many times. Like I just know everything.
What are you, a type 4 or a level 4? uh, um, Actually, it's actually kind of hard for me to joke about that scale because it has a lot less meaning for me at this point. Whatever, but regardless, and it's just, but yeah, like for like those two, they have a connection, and then the thing is, they just constantly show off the results of that connection they have. And it's sort of like in a way they're the ones they progress more than anyone else throughout the series, or they show off their progress the most in terms of like their relationship.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
they're the one who actually move forward with their relationship the most.
yeah. And actually, I did think about something, and that's well, two big things, and that's the position that his name is Genjiro, right? Because if I'm
That's it.
okay, I really was gonna worry I was gonna fuck that up because I just forget the names sometimes. But yeah, Genjiro like fulfilling several different roles throughout the series. Wait, does he?
Genjiro.
I think he connects with Hibiki and Hibiki, Tsubasa,
He
and
connects to
Yukie
it.
more than anyone else.
Yes.
Because he doesn't
Yes.
really connect with with Maria and Shirabe and Kirika, because Shirabe and Kirika, they only need each other really, and then learning how to live or how to be without each other.
And Maria as an adult.
Yeah. But also, like, honestly, Genjiro doesn't really... Genjiro does a bit for Tsubasa a lot later, but the real two characters that he really takes care of are Hibiki and Yukine, and by the end of it, he's only really taking care of Yukine, even if Yukine is more or less an adult at that point. And he barely... They don't show it much anymore because they don't need to.
I would like to point out that at the beginning of season 5, Yukine becomes an adult, and in season 5, she basically understands herself and is able to have that speech at the end that she does to Noble Red, because like just to point out that she became an adult before understanding herself.
Yeah, she had to grow up. And also,
but yeah, Genjiro.
Yeah, honestly though, or actually, if anything, Genjiro more or less fulfilled in some ways the role of, like a role of a temporary, very very brief father figure in the first season and first season, and then a bit of the second season for Yukine, and then kind of just left her to her own devices.
And he's the master of Hibiki.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And then actually, when it comes to like Hibiki, actually, like she has a lot of emotional intelligence at times. She's also dumb as bricks. Sometimes, other times.
Yeah, that's Hibiki. She's emotional and not intelligent.
But at the same time, though, she's also the kind of person who doesn't actually like. Okay, also, if anything, on a short list of characters most likely to have ADHD. The only difference is that she isn't the kind of character to bounce off the walls all the time, so maybe not. Maybe.
One thing
Yeah, she doesn't have ADHD, never mind. It's very
hard
to find
about
characters
Hibiki,
with
though,
ADHD.
like, yeah, she is very emotional, but I think at one point, like after season 3, in season 4, if something doesn't make sense, she points it out. Like,
does it become do her talks with other people just become a battle of words? Like they become a
Well,
battle of
in season,
ideologies.
yeah, in season 4,
Oh wow.
Saint
yeah.
Germain is going all about her plan of
And Hibiki's like, no, fuck
obtaining the
that
divine
doesn't
power
work.
to destroy. Yeah, Hibiki just goes, that doesn't make any sense, and she punches the fuck out of her.
Oh yeah, because that's the thing is that
I don't understand a word you are saying. And I guess that's a pretty emotional statement, though.
But that's the thing is that like she's actually, because honestly, this is I'm gonna have to connect in Naruto here for a second because Talk no Jutsu is rampant in Simple Gear, even if they end up still settling their fights with fists. And also Adam was just an ass.
That's why he killed him.
Yeah. But let me see how I want to describe it. So when in Naruto, a lot of the time the results of a battle tend to be more clearly predicted and defined by the ideologies spouted by the characters fighting, at least for the main fights. Like you get Naruto fighting a lot of different characters throughout the series, and when his ideology is flawed, he loses. He just straight up loses.
Yeah.
And when he is in the right, he tends to win. Sometimes I forget. I think there's a few cases where it's not exactly the same way. It doesn't work in the same way. But when his ideology is rock solid, he will win 100% of the time. Because he's able to point out the flaws in someone else's ideology, and in a way, in Naruto, that's more or less the writing equivalent of your ideology is your power. Or writer, it's some form of shorthand for that. And then it's sort of
and then Naruto goes into stupid shit like, "Oh, you can change destiny." Let's not get into that.
let's not get into it too far. I mean, honestly, it's just the general idea though is like you win battles with what you believe and not what you not how strong you are, even if you have to literally have the power to back it up. Actually, no, there was a big part of it that also, like, there's an ideology to it that you also need. You can't do any of this shit without power in Naruto, but that's a separate subject. I could probably make a video series on that.
But then you get to Simple Gear where emotions are power.
And that's the thing is that, but at the same time, though, if you can't get your ideology on the right fucking page, you're gonna get fucked over.
Of course.
And that's the thing is that, the majority of the time, Hibiki and the gang are on the ideological right on the proper side of the ideological spectrum.
Yeah.
And it's like,
so they win.
And yeah, and it's like that's the thing though is that like, and that's the thing though is that when it comes to writing, the thing they ended up and they had to fucking balance this shit, you know.
Yeah.
They had to balance like how to make this fight believable that the main characters would win, and also it just so happened that their ideology is the one that makes the most sense.
You get some gray areas sometimes, like in the end, the Curse of Balal is not what we thought it was, so it was somewhat of a good thing that it existed.
Yeah, and actually, there's a. Geez, this is just a lot to talk about because I have like so much more. Like, yeah, this is gonna be a special episode. This is no matter what gonna be a fucking special episode of this podcast.
Yeah, because we still haven't even started to talk about episode 4. So
honestly, my thought is that I don't think we really need to for a little bit. Like we can hold off on recording that for a day or so.
Yeah, I don't mind.
Yeah, because the thing is, honestly, what I really wanted to talk about in terms of Simple Gear is just everything. And like
that's my goal.
Of course, we're gonna still do the chronological stuff. It's just we still want to just talk. Sometimes we just want to talk about all of it.
I had the idea of dedicating a YouTube channel to just pointing out every single thing that's cool about Symphogear. Like, just 2 minutes videos, like a million 2-minute videos, like, oh, you saw that scene? That happened because of that and that. Ain't that fucking cool? And the video ends.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff that's nice about this. I love talking about this show though, because honestly, I connect. This is literally like me. This is how I connect. This is part of how I connect with the world, and that's just consuming as much media as I fucking can, and then just talking about it with people. And shows like this really do a lot, like to get me to think about things. Yeah. Again, I keep on thinking. I also keep on coming back to the scale, and I keep on coming back. I keep on bouncing between Symphogear and that autism scale, and it's just like I feel like it's a good representation of how I feel about the scale, because it's like this is a show that honestly a lot of people look at and think this is pure hype, nothing more, nothing less. I will watch it with that belief in mind.
That's the first thing you see, and
like
first impressions, like.
And that's like honestly, that's my first impression for Digi's scale was like, okay, this is great because I've heard what Digi was talking about it before in the Discord, because that's great. That's a great place to talk and learn about these things ahead of time, and then also just like. I was like, this is great, but at the same time, though, I was also thinking, this is called the autism scale. Fuck that name. And, that's like, that's the level 1 reaction, I guess. And then my current reaction, though, now is like, you know what? This scale is great because it talks about a lot of good stuff, and it says some very important things about hyperfixation. But at the same time, I don't think I can use the scale because this doesn't do anything for me anymore.
Just don't use it.
Yeah.
I will use it because I think it's very fun to classify everything on that scale.
Honestly, I've had more of a vendetta against labels than Digi has at
that's points. Okay. Yeah, sure.
But also,
I'm willing to call it something else.
Or no, you don't even have
like
to
the hyperfixation scale.
Or no, you don't even have to do that.
No.
You don't have to do that. I don't need you to do that.
Honestly, I'm just gonna say like level and not autism level. Like
okay. I mean,
I'm honestly, a level 4.
Honestly, now that just reminds me of like how you can have a conversation and like never mention someone's name.
Yeah.
Because it's so easy to do that. I mean, that's how it works. It's just like. Yeah, and I actually feel like, as I said, like if I found this scale a few years earlier, like when I wasn't like as self-aware and like I didn't understand myself nearly as well as I do at this point, I would have just like taken this scale and just made it my identity. I was a very in a lot of ways I've been a very malleable person.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. You just brought something up, and about names, how you can have a conversation without saying the person's name ever, right?
Yeah. Doesn't work too well in anime because Japanese is fucking.
Yeah, but think about that in Symphogear's context. Like Tsubasa, for example. She calls everyone by their last name, except Maria, and it makes sense because Tsubasa is the one.
Seriously, they're so fucking. They definitely fucking.
Like Tsubasa is the one that distances herself the most from everyone else, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, actually, also her connecting with Maria allows her to take Hibiki's hand.
Yes, because Maria lets her take in the words of her father.
Yeah.
Like she makes her rethink
everything.
Once again, like what her father said to her.
Yeah, although I do have to say, and also just thinking back on it, like Tsubasa just kind of went in a circle with her arc.
She
reached a circle, but it was also like it's more like not really a circle as much as
it's
like
because she
an
was
outward
forced
spiral.
back into this. She was forced back into, like, by force by her grandfather / father.
Although actually, it's
Like,
more like she was in a specific place, and then she got sequestered to being a sentinel.
exactly, but she got literally like brute forced back into that state that
She got
was at the
hypnotized
beginning
into
in
it
season 1.
as well.
Of course, because her father
Is not above
grandfather,
mind,
father,
her
whatever,
grandfather's not above mind control.
wiped out her concert just to traumatize her and hypnotize her and then mind control her. Like, how fucked do you have to be to do that? Like, it's not her fault, man.
Nah, I mean, it's just kind of interesting how, like, or what I mean though is like she became like she was good, or she was in a position where she was kind of struggling between her two sets of or like two positions in identity, which was how she was around Kanade,
Which is an idol, a singer, and
and
a
also
sentinel.
someone who's a lot more timid.
Yes.
And her grandfather's wanting her grandfather wanting her to be a sentinel.
Exactly. Her grandfather wanting her to be a sword.
Being a sword, yeah, to be a sword. And then, but then the thing is, then the first part of it is, then her first option is taken away by force, or by way of the noise, and then her second option is basically left the only thing she has, and when when she finally starts to get close and get even closer to her to breaking out of that role, she gets brainwashed and traumatized, or she gets traumatized and then subsequently brainwashed, and then is forced to confront all the fucked up shit going on, and let go of her, and finally be able to let go of the BS she's been led to believe. Thanks to Maria actually and her father and all that.
Because Fudo is he's a Nazi.
He's not even a Nazi. He's just a fascist.
He's not a Nazi, but
he's just a fascist.
Yeah.
No, not even a fascist. He's actually no, he is a fascist, but he's a strong man. He's literally the definition of a strong man.
He just wants everyone to see the world like he does.
Which also is why he dies.
He doesn't die, but
he doesn't die. Fuck. Oh, dang it.
He gets imprisoned in a prison inside a prison inside a prison.
He dead. Honestly, there's no there's no after season 5. There's only the specials, and then we're done. There's no chance of it going the way of Bleach and fucking letting Sosuke Aizen out.
Can Fudo have a redemption arc? No, I don't know.
No. We're not going
He wiped
into
out.
that.
He killed 70,000 people just to traumatize her daughter.
Yeah,
he can't.
We're not making him into Loki. Yeah, I'm going through all the references today. But yeah, the general idea of it. Yeah, he loses because he's for like almost every single villain in the series. Often is either they're all trying to connect with other people. Everyone in the series is, and I think the one who, although I do have to say, the one who I liked, except for Adam.
Dr.
Adam wanted
Bear.
to just control everything.
No, Adam wanted to connect with the custodians.
Yeah.
He wanted to stand at their level.
Was it Carol that didn't want to connect with people and just wanted to dissect the world? Well, that's connecting with her father.
That's what she wanted.
She wanted to connect with her father, though, so maybe not.
But
who is it then? Sorry, I kind of cut you off there.
Well, no, it's alright. Carol is a complicated matter because her character goes through a lot of stuff. But what I wanted to say was Dr. Ver. Like you said, I think you said in your little write-up that you did that Dr. Ver is essentially the first one to go against the curse of Balaam. Because
he doesn't need people to understand him.
he doesn't need that. All he needs is himself. And that's why he wants to recreate humanity from himself, basically.
Yeah, and actually what's interesting is that's in a way still kind of forcing a connection, but it's in such a way that is not him actually wanting to connect with others, but just wanting more of himself.
Yeah. Connecting with himself.
Yeah. That fucking whack job.
Everything is whack about this guy, man. It's Dr. Ver.
Great character, though.
He's great.
I'm the world's last action hero.
Whenever he showed up, whenever his ghost showed up at the end, me and all my friends literally stood up and screamed for like 2 minutes straight. Like, Dr. Ver!
Oh, jeez.
Because it's a big meme, like that Dr. Ver always comes back, right?
He's
like
never
you
dead.
watch season 2 and then you don't expect him to come back,
Oh
but
my
then
God.
he does in
Okay,
season 3 in a big way.
Okay, I know everyone I know a lot of people hate Blizzard right now, but damn it, in the words of Mercy, heroes never die.
And then he dies in season 3, so you don't expect him to come back.
And then
but
comes
he
back
does
twice.
in Maria's memories.
And then again,
He does in Maria's memories. And in season 5, he's just a ghost, but he still comes back. You know?
yeah.
I love him though.
Yeah. He's a great character. Like, yeah. Oh. You know, we spent an hour and a half gushing about Symphogear. Actually, no, an hour, 12 minutes so far.
Yeah, that's why I got to.
Yeah.
Should we even talk about episode 4 or just leave it for some sometime else?
I want to leave it for some other time because, as I said, this is, if anything, this is a special episode where we're just shooting the shit.
Yeah, I think so too. Because anyway, I gotta stop soon.
Yeah. I want to get back to reading One Piece.
All right, then I guess we can just stop now because we said everything we had to say, and I guess tomorrow we can talk about episode 4 to 6.
Yeah. Well, this has been a special episode of the. What are we calling this again? Senki Zesho Synthcast.
Symphocast. No, I think that exists.
I think
already.
it's Senki Zesho Synthcast.
Or Podcastgear.
Oh, Podcastgear.
Like
Senki Zesho Podcastgear. Yeah, that's what it is. Senki Zesho Podcastgear. It's I am Sadachi.
He is AIDS 5 and I'm Will the Dill.
fucking memes. And stay tuned for the next episode we do, which will be out sometime.
Like in a few weeks, I guess.
Yeah, who knows? Anyways, bye.
See ya.